why am I here talking about learning with grandparents? Well, let me just to give you 3 very quick facts. In Wales, in March 2012, there were 4,311 children in foster care. And in 2009, the figure was 3,632. So there's been 700 increase in 2 years. And you may have seen on television the representative from Cafcass saying we're at an all-time high in terms of children being taken into care. So if you hold that idea in your head, firstly, right across the UK, massive increase of children being taken into care. The other side is this. There are across the UK a shortage. There is across the UK a shortage of 8,750 foster carers. So the fostering networks say those are the approximate figures. So a lot of children going into care, shortage of foster carers. Third issue, in the year up to 2012, March 2011, there were only 218 adoptions. So where are all these children going? Well, a lot of the children are going to grandparents. And the grandparents who are taking on these children can really be grandparents of all ages. You heard about Val saying she became a grandparent at 43. We've been representing a grandparent of 83 who was looking after her grandson of 14. So how do we ensure that grandparents get support, get good legal representation, understand what is there for them? And that's what we are hopefully about in terms of the Grandparents Legal Centre. But I can honestly say to you that from this morning, we had half an hour's worth of question and answer that went to an hour and 12 minutes. Because people have got questions and they want answers. And it's how do we communicate? And listening today to some of the ways, different parenting styles. If you're 70, some of you here are possibly over 50, possibly. I look around and think it's probably unlikely. But it's different parenting styles, different expectations, children using different language. I use this as a running example. My daughter, who's 16, will say bitch as if it's just a word. Whereas if you said, she was a real bitch, like you'd think of the Elsie Tanner of this world. You'd stand back. But Dad, and I think it's part of what this project might be about, but how any project is about, is how can we bring together grandparents who are taking on this role. If you look at Grandparents Plus, you look at the Grandparents Association, Family Rights Group, people are desperate. If you go on if you go on Facebook, the number of kinship support groups there are out there, people need to have a sense that there is somebody communicating. We're about trying to communicate legally. I'm very interested, though, in what Val has been talking about today, because you realise that there is a need to pull together different experiences. So that's what we're about, and I'm very happy to talk to anybody about it. But do grasp that within your own communities, hidden away, there are grandparents taking on roles which they never thought that they would otherwise be doing. Thank you.